What's up, YouTube and Twitch? It's good to see you. It's been almost a year since my last stream. It's crazy and hard to believe. I'll admit I'm a little jacked up and a bit nervous because technologically I have not had to deal with the ins and outs of all my stream details in, again, like 11 months. So I'm excited to be back. I'm back with a little different experience than the old VannKraken gaming channel experience you might have been used to, which was mainly World of Warships and more World of Warships, followed by some World of Warships. So we are going to mix things up on this channel tonight by doing PC New World, which is something that I took a vacation with 11 months ago from World of Warships and have been playing for the past 11 months straight. So I'm a veteran New World player now. I have more hours in the game than I probably care to share, and it's a high number. And I've had a really good time with this game, and I'm just excited to jump into it on new Fresh Start servers. It's been a crazy, crazy day in New World. There were over 100,000 concurrent players on the platform today for the first time since probably a month or so after launch, for reasons that we'll probably get into as we play. This game has a long and twisting history, and so does AGS, or Amazon Gaming Studios. So we'll cover some of that as we go along. We get a third free character slot with our original account. So that's what we're using for this Fresh Start experience, which are brand new servers where the economy is created from scratch. All the politics and everything that arises in this game will basically be brand new with regard to the birth of this server this morning. I was 1800 in queue after I generated my character. Tonight we logged on quite smoothly. So we're going to jump into the game here really shortly. I'm standing on the beach. Just want to cover a couple other really quick things that I used to do back in my old days, and they were basically as a mission or a goal of this stream is to help people enjoy and get the most that they can out of their gaming experience with regard to the amount of time that you invest in your game. So I hope to share some tips and tricks with you that will help make this a more pleasant experience, getting up to speed in New World, leveling in New World, crafting, doing combat. I do not as much PvP as I do PvE, but I try to do it all. So again, I have 3 characters, and this is the third, and had a lot of experience with the game. So any questions that you have, please let me know. This is not a sweaty channel. I'm probably a tryhard from an effort level perspective, but definitely not with regard to teabagging people with my character or cussing people out in general chat or in voice when I'm in voice in a group in an expedition or something like that. So we have a goal to have fun and try to treat our fellow gamers with some positivity and respect, if that's at all possible in this day and age. And I think it has been from the Twitch channels that I've been watching on New World over the last year. Though the game, again, has suffered some serious twists and turns and a lot of negativity along the way. So tonight, it's going to be casual play with a purpose, as I have up on the screen. It's a brand new character. VannKraken's my original character. I have a second character on US East called VannKraken, which is probably more what I'm like in real life at my age, according to my 2 teenage daughters. And this is Rob Roy Kent. I am a Ted Lasso fan, which you can figure out from this name. So it's kind of a combo mashup between Pirates and Ted Lasso. Roy is going to be our character as we journey together in our Twitch streams. We may do some YouTube content behind this channel as well. I kind of burned out on doing that when I took the break 11 months ago. I tried to do 1 to 2 YouTube videos a week on my old game. That's the only thing I did. I played that game, cranked YouTube videos constantly, and tried to enjoy the rest of my life, and it was a bit much. So we kind of took a break. Hopefully back, and gonna have a more casual schedule, not necessarily be on a set schedule the same days of the week, the same times of the week, but we hope to share a significant amount of this journey with you, and hopefully we can build some community here, as well as play some ships together at some point, as well as this will be a bit more of a variety channel going forward. So hey, that's it for the intro and the spiel. We are standing on the beach. We're going to try to cover some things like combat basics as we walk through this tutorial, basic movement, and we're going to start out level 1 in the beach experience here in New World and work our way up tonight and see how far we get. We won't be on more than probably 2.5 hours max I'm anticipating we may get to the mid-teens level-wise. We'll see how that goes, but we are going to suffer through just this experience all the way from the start. Washing up here on the beach. Eternum is this island where people get stranded. It's kind of like the Hotel California. You can check in, but you can never leave. And shocker, spoiler, you can never die. So our buddy Captain Thorpe, who's on the beach here, was introduced in our cutscene. He came to the island with a mysterious box of which we do not yet know the contents, and I'm going to try to not skip ahead and totally spoil the lore and the story behind the game. There is a core story behind this game, but it's been disputed in a lot of the chat rooms over the last year that there is any lore. It just was that you had to read it all before, except for this one cut start at the start of the game, and one at the end of the current run of content in the main story quest. But now, actually, there are more cutscenes. There are more ways to absorb the story and the lore in New World than there was before. So let's get started in the tutorial. I'm not going to walk through everything we're doing or everything we're being instructed to do, but we're going to follow along with the story here. Tutorial is going to give you some basic how-tos, mainly combat focused right now. Because if you can't survive combat, you can't really live to do anything else in this game. Two kinds of attacks, heavy attacks plus special abilities. The E key is your friend with regard to all the actions that you're going to trigger in the game for the most part, except in a few rare instances.
Bad way. A demon storm. A voice in my head. These foul creatures. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I think so. I could have sworn I saw one of the swabbies, but it was one of those creatures. Damned priest. Never should have trusted that bastard. All his talk of legends and power, treasures, nothing but lies. And the box he gave me. I don't know.
This is the infamous box that he's brought with him on this boat trip that we took that resulted in this shipwreck.
You! I order you! Search the beach. If we don't recover the box... No. Wait. I will find it. No. Please. I can't die here. Not like this.
Alright, we're going to accept our first quest within the tutorial mode. We won't listen through every conversation, but this really kind of sets up the key storyline behind the game. Then we're going to use our E key. Is our action key to pick up items. The tab key is really something we'll get used to a lot. That opens up our inventory screen, allows us to equip our basic gear here, which is our armor on the left-hand side. We have a hot bar that has food, potions, other consumables, and then our weapon equip will be above where those hot bar slots were. So I have my mouse set up, and we'll talk about this in the future, with some basically mapped buttons to imitate the hotbar keys, but we would otherwise press the number to activate the spot.
Wash up on my shore, exhausted
on the
and
hotbar.
weak, and I welcome you home.
All right, we're going to take out our frustrations of being stranded here with little clothing and no shelter. And the first critter we meet, which is a level 1 corrupted sailor. There's corruption on this island, which basically takes over people. Zombifies them in one way, and then we have other people who become lost, who basically have a conscience, but it's been diminished and they are in a zombified state. These pirate buddies here actually happen to be lost and not corrupted. So there's a distinct difference between the two that we'll learn about as we go on. Alright, so dispatch him. And we'll check out the upper right hand part of the screen. That's going to detail what we need to do in the quest chain. Everything is straight ahead. We'll use our space bar to jump over objects. attack with our left mouse button or actually with sword and shield. Most weapons we can block with our right hand button. So this is our weapon mastery screen. We're going to be able to manipulate our weapon characteristics here. So you have to start at the top row and progress down. You, like most games, have to unlock a row before you can progress to the next. We're going to go ahead and take Whirling Blade as a starting skill. It's not one that we'll probably keep, but you have to choose either Whirling Blade or Shield Rush in this first row before you can unlock anything else. So now if I hit my Q key, that's going to give me a special attack, essentially. New World only has 3 special attacks. It's not like other games where there's a whole crap load of attacks, which makes it easier to learn combat, especially for older players like me who didn't grow up playing Dota or League of Legends. Did play a little Lost Ark, but I didn't stick with it for very long, to be honest. Auto Run has been unlocked. That is the equals key, or I have it triggered actually to my mouse wheel press. And we have to do a lot of running in this game. We'll find out. Hey Justin, how are you? If you're still around, just trying to check chat between Twitch and YouTube and follow along with the game, so it's going to take me a little while to get back into flow. And there's Monk. Hey, what's up, man? You did hear ships? I'm going to be rolling some ships, but we're starting with New World, which is really what I've been doing for, again, like the last 11 months. Honestly, dude, I've not touched Legends. So when I come back, it's going to be probably a crap show. But I have been rolling with New World. It's been sticking more on the PC side than on the console side. So just haven't done as much Xbox. Had a lot going on life-wise. And wound up, as I normally do, sticking with one game at a time. We're going to use our shift keys to dodge.
Feel your blessing surge within me.
He goes in his rants, he's going to be immune from attacks. We have to wait for him to finish his spiel before we can attack him again. It's Commander Thorpe. We'll see him through the entire storyline, as well as the voiceover that's talking. The woman's voice is another key character called Isabella. Kind of form the backbone of the lore of New World. At least this first phase before the new expansion, which is called Brimstone Sands. So at least a brand new land that came out. Hope you guys have been well, Monk. I haven't obviously been in any kind of Discord. Really haven't. I've neglected all that. Hope you guys have been doing well. I have thought about a lot of you guys as the months have gone by. I just feel like a tardy student who's been sick, and each day it's a little harder to go back to school, so you delay and delay and delay. I've had those exact same feelings as a 50-year-old plus. Like, I should really be checking in and just seeing how people are, and the longer you're away, sometimes the harder it is to go back. And life has been interesting and busy, and I did offload some of my life responsibilities with regard to, I used to be almost a full-time youth soccer coach and competitive, and I gave that up this year to watch my own girls play their last few years of ball before they head off to college. So I have a lot of time that's been freed up by not doing that, which is probably a 40-hour-a-week job coaching. So, all right, we made it to the actual beach. We're out of the tutorial this morning. I saw screenshots of like 40, it wasn't 40, but like probably 15 people all lined up here at the first quest. The way New World works is the server structure only has originally 2,000 people per server. Now there's 2,500. So as these new servers were created this morning and they let players in, you can't just let 2,500 people onto the beach. They had to wave it in over time, no pun intended, being on the sand, and slowly let people trickle into the server. So it took a while. I tried to log on this morning and see if I could make it to the beach. I think I sat for about an hour and a half and then had to head off to my real life job. Didn't make it on this morning, but tonight I noticed there really isn't much of a queue at all, which is fantastic. All right, so we've got our first quest giver here, Layson Reese.
There, friend.
He's basically going to walk us through everything we need to do to progress here on the beach before we head to town for our first kind of official quests. So we're finding out that we've actually died en route to the island. Sorry, shocker. But the good news is whenever you die, you are reborn on Eternum. So you find this island has all kinds of different cultures that have all been deposited here through explorers that have come in different time periods, wound up trapped on the island and never escaped.
Quite a lot to take in, I know. You'll find many strange things on Eternum, and this not dying business is one of them. Yes.
So the voices we're hearing again are one of the people who've come to shore before us, named Isabella. Who's a powerful figure on the island, came with good intentions, and is probably representing less than good intentions now. So we get a little bit of overview of the corruption,
but I forget
which
my
is the force that takes people in an
in
evil direction.
Service. I watch these shores for shipwrecks and help those like yourself.
Alright, he's going to help us out as a guide who is, again, on the beach watching for people who wash up. He's been a very, very, very busy dude today. With 2,500 plus people coming ashore on this brand new Fresh Start server.
Around nearby. Yes, you'll need a skinning knife to
So he's
start,
talking about boars.
unless
One of
you
the key
prefer your
skills
roasted
in this
boar
game
with the
is
skin
actually
on.
skinning and
If you'll gather
tracking.
some flint and wood
And we'll
on
get
your way to
hide
join
or
me at
meat
the
from those
watchtower,
actions and
you
turn
can
that
fashion a
into
good
either
knife at
food
the
or
campfire.
crafting materials, essentially. So he's going to give us our first item to wear, which are level 1 boots. We did come with pants and a shirt. It's not completely naked and afraid. We got the shield during the tutorial, so we're just going to go ahead and drag the pants onto the pants slot or legging slot. See, we still don't have a hat or gloves, and we only have the sword that we had in our hand when the tutorial started. So we'll unlock these different slots as we progress level-wise. So again, this is your basic inventory screen. All your items as you pick them up will get deposited here, and then you slide them into their active slots to use them just like most role-playing games. Alright. So we have a quest marker on the top of the screen. We need to gather flint, which are laying on the ground. A couple kind of rocks. There's rocks that we can hit, and there's rocks that we can pick up. So flint is what we want to pick up. We're going to use that to make fires, like our campfire when we build a camp. And we're going to use that to craft basic tools, which in this case will be our 3 main gathering tools, which are for skinning, for harvesting, or for mining. And then actually the 4th is fishing. So collect our flint. We need to collect a little bit of green wood too. So there's 2 ways to get wood. You can gather it from chopping down trees, but we ain't got no axe, so it'll tell you that. It'll be X'd out, or you can basically harvest a bush, which looks like these fuzzy guys here. So bushes are going to give you a really small amount of wood. Green wood, different types of wood. Green wood is younger trees and bushes. Mature wood is the older, thicker trees. And there are different types of wood as well, which are used based on different level of crafted items. Alright, so now we have, if we click on an item that's illuminated, we have the materials necessary to craft that item. You can craft at a campsite, you can craft at specific stations in the town that we'll cover. The flint skinning knife we are ready to craft, and if it has a quest marker by it, that's what we want to do first. So we're just going to click the illuminated craft button. That's all we need to do. We've crafted one. It would allow us to continue to come back here and craft something else. But we're just going to, you can either click escape or just hit the escape key to get out. So now, since we made this skinning knife, it's going to be in our inventory. And we're just going to slide that into the illuminated slot for that, which is our skinning knife slot. Talk to Lacey again.
Very impressive. One of the nicest crude skinning knives
I'm
I've
sure.
seen.
It's our very first knife. He
You've
loves
done
it.
this before, haven't you?
You're gonna level really fast when
It's
you first
important
start.
to know how to provide for yourself here. The wilds of Eternum can be a very
So listen to his
harsh
spiel talking to
environment.
us about having to
It's
forage
reasonably safe up the road in the town of Pridewind.
and Pridewind,
but
which
out here,
is awesome that
we're
we
on
landed
our
on
own.
this side of the island. There's two sides of the island you can start on. One takes you to where we are, which is Monarch's Bluff. The other
Yes,
side
it
is
has its own share of troubles, but
Windsward, which is
nothing
not
like
as fun of a
what we are
questing
seeing
area,
here.
in my opinion.
The persistence of this storm is worrisome, to say the least. I may very well.
Alright, so
yes,
he's gonna send
you'll
us off to
them
find some
snuffling
boar
around in
to
the bushes nearby.
attack with our
They're
sword
ornery,
and
but I
prepare with
think
our
you can
skinning
handle
knife
it. Go and
in
hunt
order to get some
yourself
pants.
down
But let's stop for a second. All these new players coming ashore, this is
the
awesome.
campfire.
New World had some really dead times, and I was there for those, so it's exciting to see all these people come back. Alright, your hand slot is where we'll put our handwear. So I'm gonna click that dude, pull our gloves over, and it's kind of cool. Builds it in real time, builds your character's skin out that you're wearing with regard to gear composition. And talking quickly about starting zones, so we scroll out with our mouse wheel. This is our whole map. Two starting areas now, Windsward and Monarchs. Why I'm excited that we got Monarch's Bluff is because it has a really cool redo of the town that includes a big castle, some fun questing. You can go back and do the starter quests in the opposite territory if you land in one. You just, I think, have to complete the quests in your town's quest chain before you can jump to the other area. So we can manipulate quests from here. We'll talk about that as we progress. But right now we're going to check out basically these character menus. As they light up, we'll go ahead and go into each one. Character, which is K, has a number of tabs. It's got the bio about who we are. We can put a title in when we earn titles. It has our attributes, which is how we're going to build out our character's composition. Weapon mastery, which we saw very briefly on Sword and Shield, how we build our weapons and power them up. Trade skills are progress on our crafting, gathering, and refining ability. PvP, there's a whole rewards track for this, which is really cool that we can get into as we level up our character. And there are achievements, and we are at 0.0. We're on the beach. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop a couple points into strength and dex and one into con and assign those points. So these symbols here are the weapons that are affected by this type of characteristic. So I'm gonna spoiler alert and tell you that I'm gonna start out playing Greatsword, which is one of the new weapons in New World, which is just fantastic. It just got released with the Brimstone Sands update about a week and a half ago, and I'm gonna pair that with Spear, which is my other favorite weapon from long time going back. So I think those work well together. You'll choose your own weapon combinations that you enjoy as you progress through the game. It's to each their own. All the weapons have utility. Some are better in PvP than PvE and vice versa. So you'll figure that out as we journey through this adventure, or you read online sources, or just experience your own gameplay and what you're good at. Con is straight health. It doesn't influence any of the weapons. It just has this plus sign, which is the health symbol in New World. Down here along the bottom, it's tracking our leveling progress. So each time we level up, we'll get to come back to this screen and reallocate points. And then, again, we can just use our escape key to get out. And the K key is character, brings this up. M key's map, J is for journal, which is your quest log. You can use all those as quick keys once you're getting used to things. Alright, so the boars are going to be wandering up in this forested area. So we need to hunt one whopping boar, that's it. The boars in this area are very tame. When you get into other areas, it's not so much the case. It kind of trolls you once you get to a high enough level zone where you aggro the boars really easy and they attack you from distance. Not something you experience here in the starter areas. They're very docile. And I'll admit, I'm an animal lover. I felt a little bad killing the digital creatures when I first started playing the game, but you get used to it. I will run and skin stuff that people kill and just leave laying there because I hate wasting resources, but they are just digital assets, right? Alright, so We go back into the E action key at the campfire to perform our next action, and we're gonna have these quest icons lit up over things that we need to do. Those weren't there when New World first started. It makes things way easier. So as we progress through all types of quests, those little quest markers will guide us in real time. It used to be crazy trying to run around and figure what thing to interact with, and that is not an issue anymore, which makes life super easy compared to the old days. I'll reminisce a lot about how much this game has improved. It's improved a ton. All right, so hit E to craft. Again, we've got a symbol by Light Ration, which is what he wants us to craft next. Let's go ahead and do 2, why not? And what we see here is that we get experience in standing, which is in the territory we are in. Every time we kill something or craft something or perform some other notable actions, we build standing or reputation in the zone that we're in. And as the game goes on, tonight hopefully we'll see how you spend that reputation to buff yourself up in the zone that you're operating in. They're all separate from one another. And then we get some points for cooking. So this is one of our crafts. We're gonna go ahead and exit because we performed the duty that he wanted us to do for our quest. Sorry, we're just foundationally setting things here. If we go back into the character screen and we look now at trade skills, we saw cooking boost to 1, and we saw that nice little reward spiel come up. We're at level 1 in cooking now, so the maximum score on all these before you get kind of bonus scoring is 200 in each of these categories. I have my original character on US West original server El Dorado. That is a grand, what do you call a skills grandmaster character. I have 200 in every category because I'm anal about getting everything done. Here we start from scratch. We want to build those up through crafting,
delicious.
gathering, and
And
refining.
you seem to be feeling better than when you first rejoined the ranks of
Yeah,
the living.
we're feeling better. We made some food.
That's convenient. We get
We're almost fully
shipwrecks on these
clothed.
shores now and then.
So he's basically going to
That's
tell
the
us about
dark side of
corruption, that it's
eternal
basically
life, I
like being
suppose.
possessed.
You resurrected with your soul intact.
Everyone is
but many come back
eternal
soulless,
on this
the
island,
lost.
but some get possessed
Worse.
and
They
get
return
taken over by a
souls
mysterious
twisted,
dark
possessed
force
by
within the
insatiable
island.
Evil. Essentially, yes. And the corrupted are relentless.
And there is a corrupted organization going on, especially in the
killing to
northern
increase
part of
their
the
numbers.
island, that
It's
is working
just
its way
across the
south.
water, and frankly, we need to deal with the corrupted gathering there. Oh, excellent. If the
All right.
corrupted start converging on you in numbers, I suggest you retreat. Either way, keep that blade handy.
He wants to send us
The
out to
last thing
deal
we
with some of the
need is for you
corruption
to be joining their ranks.
that has infiltrated this area here and turned some of these sailors that have washed up on the beach into corrupted characters. So the compass is across the top of our screen. You can see the one.
They shall ruthlessly
This is
strike
Isabella.
down their
Listen up.
fellows. Their path to corruption begun.
Anger leads to hate, leads to the dark side. Might do some references to Star Wars, some dad jokes. Those are all free, no extra cost. But we're following basically the markers on the compass to get to our destination. And you'll see the enemies that we want to attack are basically highlighted by that yellow marker over the top of their head. We're going to respawn here quickly so we get our chance to fulfill our mission here as well. It looks like we're going to have a lot of help on the beach. We're just going to pick up everything that we can right now, and we'll talk about managing all this stuff we're going to accumulate in our inventory. You can see that down the bottom right hand area of the screen. Point at with my mouse here. This is our wheel that shows how much of our carrying capacity is taken up. We only have one bag of 3 filled right now. So we're not going to be able to carry a whole lot. So we're going to have to actively manage our inventory as we go along. Corrupted are these veiny looking guys. They usually have fire coming off them. Red eyes. They've changed these starting quests dramatically. So there was no corrupted folks at the starter beach before. It used to be just lost, which are, again, they're not corrupted, they're more like zombified, but they still have some lingering memories of who they were and some consciousness. But corrupted, and Isabella has been introduced at the very start of the game here with these voiceovers to get us a better sense of what the underlying lore with regard to the storyline is and the island's history.
Well done. It's grim work, I know, but we can't.
Alright, we've defeated the corrupted in this area. That Layson does not want us to gain a foothold. Again, the corrupted have a big chunk of high-level territory in the north of the island, but we want to keep them from spreading south.
It's unnatural even by eternal standards.
The storm wall is something surrounding the island that basically locks people in and doesn't let people leave.
I'm not sure.
It's a mystery as to why the storm wall is occurring.
Likely a lost cause. If they're out there, stuck in the midst of the wreckage, well, I fear you.
Alright, he wants us to go look for more survivors out in the wreckage. We're leveling up quickly. We hit level 4. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the character screen to stay up with allocating our points as we go along. And again, the quest icon is going to match up with our compass. If it's actively listed on the right-hand side of your screen, you can stop and you can select and deselect quests here. But if it's pinned on your screen, you're going to be able to see the quest marker on the top of your compass so you know which direction to run or travel in. There are no mounts in this game. It's a big sticking point for people from other MMOs. But honestly, New World is my first MMORPG, so I don't have any attachment to mounts other than the ones I had in Skyrim. So there are lots of options to travel through fast travel through what we call spirit
All
shrines.
these sailors join our cause. Soon will be all of humanity.
Okay, Isabella's chatting again. It's going to be a little more interesting trying to actually score some kills right now. There's a lot of kill stealing going on. You don't have to completely kill these creatures to record credit. That's the nice thing. And you can be in a group, which can help with that as well. Okay, we're just going to pick up anything that drops right now. Check my map. We're going to scroll in with the scroll wheel. We've got to run behind this wreckage to get to our destination. Okay, we'll just pause as we get points available. Yep. Got a friend. Okay, let's stop a little further out. Go sword. Let's just buff this up. We'll talk about why you might want to build points out on one specific tree versus the other. There's always two trees with two different kind of focuses on each weapon. Swordmaster for sword and shield is more of an attacking set. Defensive is more focused on your shield, obviously providing you defense. Tanks often use sword and shield. We'll talk about characters are fluid in this game. You don't have to choose one specific class. You can actually reallocate your weapon points and your attributes and become any class that you want. But right now, let's... I want Shield Bash, not Shield Rush, but right now we'll take Shield Rush as a second skill. Just to level up and unlock some of the other skills that we want. Did pick up a rapier, we're just not going to use it right now. Again, we'll manage our inventory here briefly after we make a little bit of progress on this quest. Grace O'Malley is one of the key characters in the beginning part of the game now. She follows us from area to area, so we interact with her regularly through all the starting zones. Another new addition in the 1 to 25 quest redesign that they just did with this, again, more underlying connection to the lore and the story. Also more variability in quests, so destroying stuff instead of just running and picking stuff up, killing a certain number of enemies. You'll see more variety in your starting quests, which is really cool. And questing throughout the game, honestly. Alright, we'll keep following Grace. These are lore pages, guys. We'll pick up lore pages and then you tab through the different numbers to read them. There's a ton of lore embedded in these pages. This used to be the only way the story was really represented, except for the initial and the ending cutscene. I think what AGS figured out is that people don't like to read all these notes, and a lot of times you're picking them up and people are attacking you while you're trying to read the notes in PvP or the PvE mods. So you can go back and look at your journal at any time later on by clicking on these different categories. So that's documents. So actually go back and read the pages that you found when you're in a more chill location. Double mic going on, Wahoosh. I just have restarted my stream up after an 11-month break, so my settings may be a little goofy. So thank you for the commentary on that, the feedback, no pun intended. I do have to work out some of my stream settings, so I'm going to take a note on that. Hope it's not too bad. And Mr. Hitman, hello. I dropped you a quick whisper in Twitch. I feel embarrassed I haven't talked to you for so long. I hope you're doing well. I've just had a lot of life going on, super busy time, a lot of extracurricular life things going on, so I took a break from World of Warships, the game that I played for 6 years straight, essentially, and have been doing New World for the last 11 months since it launched. So it's great to see you, Hitman. Hope you are doing well. And thanks for stopping by. I know this probably isn't so much your jam, but I see you playing other games. I know you're playing like Tom Clancy, some FPS games. So I'm glad to see you branching out as well. It's hard to play the same game all the time, which is one of the downsides of streaming, honestly.
I think I was all alone out here. The rest of the world had gone mad.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to figure out what that double mic issue is right now. Wahoosh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, the new servers have opened, the Fresh Start servers. If you go on to the starting screen, you'll see them as options, and you'll have a third character slot now that you can assign. There was obviously 2 for a long time until last night when they did the patch, and then you'll have a third character unlocked. I think there's 2 servers on US. Let me look over really quickly. US West, where I am. And I use a website called New World Status. It's part of NWDB, the New World database. But if you search on that, there is a server status. That is nwdb.info. There's a server status tab which tells you basically the current load, queue, whether a server is locked for character transfer, gives you all the background information, and has a list of all the regional servers too. And there's a little star icon or sun icon by all the Fresh Start servers. So that's how you can tell what's new and what opened up. They opened more servers than I expected today. It got really overloaded when they opened the first one on each region, and people were really complaining a ton on the forums, and I think they knew that might be an issue, so they immediately went and opened some new servers, which they had kind of in their back pocket. So yeah, use your third character slot. As time goes on, we'll talk a lot more about why people left New World, and a lot of it had to do with a ton of bugs in the initial launch of the game, some which were around duping of gold and resources, and AGS claims to have gotten like 95% plus of that wealth out of the original servers. And honestly, a lot of those players have left, and I feel like it's been completely diluted, the impact of that stuff, but some people are still, basically, we're still salty and not going to come back until Fresh Start servers came about, which no transferring in of any characters into the Fresh Start servers, essentially. Hitman, awesome. Thanks. Awesome to see you. The family's well. You uninstalled ships. That's a whole nother discussion. We'll have to catch up offline on Discord. I chatted with Bussy not too long ago. Yeah, boy. And I just have feelings about why I've taken a break from that game. But we can definitely catch up on that. And it's just awesome to see you. I hope you're doing well. All right, guys, let's get back to this. Grace is basically telling us now that we need to investigate what's going on here with these kooky pirates.
There'd be some kind of town nearby. Thinking I go look for it after I'm done out here.
She's also going to give us some survival cache of some materials that we can use, some potions.
One thing I learned, you have to always think ahead.
She's a looter. She's a profiteer. That relationship continues as we work with her through the series of starter quests on the island. She's constantly talking about her revenue split.
That's the spirit. It's a deal.
Pretty cool character. They've put a lot into increasing the quality of the voiceover and the banter in these starter quests. Alright, so we're basically going to look for survivors, we're going to loot these ships, and we're going to split the profits with Grace. And while we're doing this, Isabella, the Dark Force, who we have not met yet, is going to continue to voice over at us. Which is pretty cool, because none of that was in the initial release of the game. Okay, I'm not going to read all the lore notes. It would just be too boring for everybody. A lot of people played this game not reading any lore pages whatsoever. I spent quite a bit of time reading them the first go-around. Because that, again, was the only way to learn the lore. And I was playing with a company that actually was kind of invested with the storyline of the game. Yeah, good luck, Hitman. Yeah, I'll pop in and check out. I get your notifications still. I'm still subscribed. I'm still following on Twitch, so definitely jump in and say hello. And again, just great to hear from you, and hope everything is well with you. And wish you at least continued fun and success in your streaming endeavors. You do a great job at it, so hope to hook up with you soon. Again, as always, thanks for coming by. Oops, we missed one thing. Alright, so this is where if you miss an item, just do a scan, and you see that we've got an icon up above, so we did miss one item. There's sometimes multiple levels in an objective, and that was the case here. Okay, there's a lot of jumping puzzles that have been introduced into the game too, with the reworked 1 to 25 experience, and in Brimstone Sands, the new high-level area. So whenever you encounter a jumping puzzle, these white splotches are going to give away kind of your jumping path. They made it a little bit easy. And we'll talk about how you actually jump and grab stuff. It's basically you have to have your weapon drawn. So if I sheath my weapon with X and I try to jump and catch myself on things, it won't work very well. But if I unsheath my weapon, and it has to be a melee weapon, not a bow or a musket, a staff works, a magical weapon, and you use your right button, your right mouse button, you can jump and grab things, essentially.
There you are. Huh. I was starting to worry. More important,
Alright, she's happy we found some stuff of value.
Unfortunately, I didn't have as much luck as you did. Now there's a good maid. Tough one. Most of our cargo is lost at sea.
So she's sending us back to work. Explore another ship. Find more stuff she can share in the spoils with us. Yeah, Wahash, I have gone back and changed some of the noise gate settings and stuff on my mic as well. It wasn't really getting along with NVIDIA's studio, my mic setup, which is Elgato, and have to iron that out probably. Alright, Again, we're just going to scan our objectives up above. Here we have white blotches, so we know we can jump up to it. And in a lot of cases, if it's not a high ledge, you can just jump and it will kind of auto-grab. So I guess this was Grace's ship. She wanted us to grab her ship's wheel and her flag. Just using the space bar to jump up. Tell you when we have to go a little more technical with the grab, the jump grab. Watch says, I only played New World during its closed alpha. What's the builds like now? Can I focus on one weapon set only, or can I do shield, sword, rifle? Sword and shield is still a viable combo with a lot of other weapons. So if we look at our weapon configuration, oh god, this guy's respawned so quickly. Let me get out of this area real quick. They've kind of littered the starting zones with different weapons you pick up, so you get exposure to quite a few weapons sooner if you're paying attention, looking around on the ground. So let's just hop up here. I don't think they're going to bug us up here. So, yeah, if we look at our he climbs! Alright. You can lay down, and that sometimes dissuades them. Let's run back to where Grace is. Mobs probably won't come there. We'll just look while we're running. This is a new innovation, Wowhush. You can actually look at your inventory while running, which I think is freaking huge. But yeah, sword and shield can still be used in combination with other weapons. There are people that combo it with musket. I combo it. I don't tank normally, so I usually use spear as my backbar weapon once I've unlocked it, and I have, you know, obviously a lot of different options that I've gathered and crafted in my higher level characters. But spear is usually my backbar, but some people, especially the ranged DPS or damage per second players, use a combination of musket and other melee weapon, or bow and another melee weapon. Says, can you focus on one weapon set only? Yeah, I mean, I tend, from a focus perspective, as far as building expertise and like building skill, I will work on taking 2 of these weapons now during leveling to probably at least level 10, and then I'll start playing around with some other weapons. I like to have 2 that I get basically at a higher power level than the other, so when I get to higher tier zones, I have some kind of go-tos that I can dispatch higher mobs quicker, especially if you're not playing grouped. If you're playing solo PvE, you want to have some weapons that have decent power. You don't want to tank, but you like to be tanky for PvP. Besides the sword and shield, the other really interesting weapon now is the greatsword. When we get one here on the beach, or we buy one in town, it has become one of my favorites. Spear is probably, it was not my favorite in the beginning, but I really started liking it a lot, and I've gotten good with it. So it's my go-to kind of backbar weapon in slot 2. And then I vary what I have in slot 1. But I'll change that up for certain expeditions, which are the name for dungeons in New World. But the sword and shield has always been a very solid tanking weapon. But the greatsword allows you to, what you're saying, be tanky because it has an attack and a defense tree, but it has amazing DPS capability, and you can switch back and forth between the defensive stance and the attacking or onslaught stance. So as I progress through and play up to higher levels, hopefully get a great sword and be able to demonstrate. Well, we will get a great sword. We'll be demonstrating how that puppy works, and it's a really cool and fun weapon to use, and really versatile too. Okay, so we're back at the watchtower. All I'm doing now is equipping my first jewelry slot, which we unlocked a amulet from Grace in that quest. The jewelry is basically going to give us buffs to health and to armor and to like how fast our potions refresh and how useful, how much buff we get from our potions essentially. So there's an amulet, a ring, and an earring slot. And again, these basically unlock as you progress. If you go in view leveling rewards, this tells you when your different slots unlock. And again, you can see that on the inventory screen as well. Has a little overlay. All right, so let's go talk to him real
Welcome
quick.
back, my friend. Glad to see
Blunderbuss
you're
is fun
still with
too.
us.
Wash, a lot of people are
Late to
combining
another
Sword and
survivor,
Shield with
but I'm
Blunderbuss.
afraid we lost you in the process.
The original firearm in the game was the musket,
A real piece
and now
of work,
the blunderbuss
isn't
is like a shotgun. It's for in-your-face artillery combat, essentially. Pellet blasts, short range, but very devastating attacks if you combo them properly. And a lot of people use a lead-in with Sword and Shield to jump in and bash, distance close and bash their enemy into a stun, and then hit them with the blunderbuss. It's been nerfed a little because it was a one-shot combo that was super effective, but it's still powerful if used properly. All right, he's concurring that Grace is crafty, getting us to work with her and getting a profit share.
There's a network of sea caves nearby. Where
Okay.
the corrupted seem
He's
to
going to send us
be.
to
Now
check out
there's
some
someone
caves where
willing
some
to step
corrupted
up.
have
I can't do this alone.
nestled into this area.
Thought perhaps our new friend might join as well, but I suspect you'll be wasting your...
He thinks Grace may meet us in that area. All these people still washing up. This is cool. All right, I'm going to concentrate on building strength and dex and putting the remainder in con. We have like 1,000 hit points. When you have a well-built character, especially something like a tank, you're going to be in the 10 to 14,000 range of hit points. We only have, sorry, this is not our hit point pool. That's our experience to the next level. Our hit point pool is 950. So it's like 1/10, 1/15 of what it will be when we progress through to level 60. Okay. Any lore page that's glowing, even if you don't want to read it, pick it up quickly and then just go back to what you're doing. Because if you look at the progress bar on the bottom, they raised by 200% the experience points gained by picking up the lore pages. Alright, let's talk to Grace again. She's going to be our kind of constant companion. Yep, we grabbed her flag. She's telling us about the town and basically confirming that we can't escape the island.
A lot of stuff from Watcher Lacenaries. Have it your way, hero.
She's warning us not to turn into a corrupted. We're going to have some banter going back and forth between these different characters. And they move now. They didn't used to move. They used to stand in one place, so people got really pissed and hated the quest construction because you'd have to run from a hub to a spoke, back to the hub, spoke, hub, spoke, hub, over and over. Sometimes like literally 6 or 7 times. Again, without mounts and people being upset that there's no mounts, it got really old for folks. Lore page. Squirrel. So they fixed that. They've made the quest more interesting and more interactive. Alright, we're just going to follow along this path. Layson has moved over to the caves. It's kind of geeky and fun just because this kind of stuff didn't happen at all in the original quest line.
Anyone but herself. Looking at the corrupted massing here, the storm is centered right above these caves. No, I don't know. If we both fall in there, damn it!
So he doesn't want to go in with us. There's a storm focused over this cave representing the corruption. So we're going to go deal with some of these corrupted dudes in our first kind of semi-little teeny tiny starter dungeon setting.
And they shall witness the power
And we're going to go ahead and
manifest,
backbar a spear
the
now.
true future of the human race.
Very dark. There are no torches. I have to get used to skills that I'm not normally using. Can't gap close with this whirling blade. So again, we use our dodge, left shift, right shift, or back shift with the arrow key. When you're in light armor, which you're going to again see, on your inventory screen, this little bar here is going to represent your armor weight. So we right now below 13 total pounds of armor are in light armor. 13 to 23 is medium, and 23 and above is heavy. So we'll talk more about armor composition, and let's see. If we hover this, it'll compare to what we have slotted in, and this is actually worse than we have slotted from an armor rating perspective. It's light. So we're just going to go ahead and salvage that. We'll talk more about salvaging later. Salvage all the pieces that we don't need so we can keep our carrying weight lower. So once your bags are full, you typically kind of have to return it down. Unless you want to forego carrying a bunch of other good stuff back with you. Okay, we've got a veil here. It's just basically a fleshy wall. To your question in 1 second, Wahush. Wahush says, can you change your stats build at will, or do you have to make a new character if you want to change it up? Yeah, so I don't know what it was like in alpha, but you can literally reallocate your stats at any time by respecking on the fly. So we would literally just hit respec up to, I think, level 20. It's free after level 20. I think it's level 20. It costs you 200 gold to respec. But you can do that on the fly at any time, and weapon mastery is the same thing. It's a pretty low cost. It's what's called Azoth. We'll talk about Azoth as we progress through the story. And Azoth is used to reset and redistribute your points on weapons. We can't hit him until we kill the ads. So let's help this guy kill the ads off. We might have to kill that corruption note. He's got the quest marker on him now. And we just got a hit on him, so we got credit for a kill. They used to be pretty sticklers that you had to get probably like 30 to 40% minimum of the damage in order to get a kill. Again, we're just going to speed through this because this is very early stage. Get a little bit of a chest reward here at the end. Hey, Bandito Dorito. Hey, it's good to see you, man. It's been a long time since I've been on. I can't remember if you're back from when I used to stream previously. It says first time chat, so maybe not. But I do remember a name very similar to yours. All right. Games still have open mic. You can set mic to open. I don't have that. I don't think that's what's causing my mic issue. But let's check. Pretty sure I have that turned off. Voice chat mode is group only right now. So that shouldn't be causing the issue that I've got going on. It's push to talk. I'll have to investigate it after the stream, after I listen back. But you can basically set whether you can hear kind of proximity voice chat or not. And it's always kind of interesting when you hear proximity voice chat, but I have it turned off except for when I'm in a group. I can hear my group mates. Most time if I'm grouped up with someone, we'll use Discord. Oh, game so while playing, can you openly hear people talking? Yes, if you have your settings set to always on, you can hear people talking in close proximity to you. Problem is, sometimes they're really annoying or playing loud music and you have to hunt down where they are. There'll be a little like sound icon that moves with their voice, but it can be difficult, especially in towns where they tend to do their talking for the most part, singing or playing music. So it can take a while to track people down and mute them. So I just got to the point where I kind of turned that off. Yeah, they still have that function.
Oh, gods, teeth when I saw
Alright.
you disrupted.
We've dispelled the storm. We've
That's
gotten a better
story
piece
fit for
of leather
those
armor
who've been
potentially.
here longer, the ones who haven't been driven mad by all the years. I suspect we'll see more corrupted in the future. But let's hope we can prevent such darkness.
Alright, we're talking about corruption. We will be for a while.
Tidings, but I should
And we'll be
stay
investigating what the source
Just
of the
deliver the
corruption
report to the
is
guard of
in
the
the
gate.
starter quest
Then
line.
get yourself a nice cup of mead at the tavern.
Hey, we got a hat.
Deserve it.
It's nighttime, so we have no sunburn. Oh, we'll get a hat when we get to town. Right, let's compare a Watcher's chest piece to our tattered shirt. Obviously, a gear score of 185, which is the big number, is better than 100. Below that, you'll see our armor rating, which is versus elemental damage, which is basically magical or different types of damage that certain mobs do. And physical is being struck by weapons, essentially, that they carry, or being bitten by animals, that sort of thing. So this is a better piece than what we've got on, so you have to click it twice and hold. We'll drag it over. Let's get out of this shirt and get a fancy leather coat. I think that's about all we've got right now worth wearing. We can get rid of this. You can either click, scroll down to salvage, or you can just hold down the C key, click on it, and that brings up a quick salvage. And then we're going to want to lock items that we want to keep. We'll talk about that. All this stuff, I'm not going to use any of these starter weapons aside from sword and shield and spear right now. So we're literally just going to drop all this stuff, salvage it all. And what you see is we get repair parts, and we get a little bit of gold for salvaging stuff. So you're going to get better and better weapons as you go along, and better armor, and better potions as well. So just don't bother trying to hold on to everything that you pick up, especially the items that are common, or which is the blackish gray, or green, which is uncommon. We want blue, or even better purple,
Come closer.
or ultimately orange
It is
items, which are the
time you know
legendaries.
the whole truth.
Might as well farm a little bit of mats. I like to craft in this game. It has amazing sound. Tree chopping is probably one of the best things, as well as mining. They did an amazing job on sound design in this game. We don't have an axe equipped, so we can't chop. Can't yet. But chopping and gathering is kind of therapy in this game for me.
Did you see my court? Huh? The wilds of Eternum have never been safe. But the roads? How should I? You mean?
This is a sad story.
help?
Boris stole his truffles. So he's our first side quest. So the quests with the fancy kind of star icon behind them are our main story quests, which you can see in your journal under main story. And then there are skill progression, side stories, epic weapon, and armor quests. This is a side story, the first one we've unlocked. You don't have to do the side quests, but I will tell you they've changed the structure of leveling this game, where the side quests and the main story quests are going to be your absolute best way to level if you want to level quickly. You also get XP with everything else that you do, from killing mobs to harvesting. Everything gives you a little bit of XP, and you'll see that accumulate across the bottom of the screen as it happens. But we're going to go ahead and keep this, and I actually am going to, in this starter zone, do as many of the side quests as possible. But we're going to talk about basically kind of how to group those quests. We have no equipped sickle for harvesting, so we're not going to be able to do that right now. Where it is. Whoops, this one has to go back. Oh, we missed a statue. This is new. Used to run straight to town from the shipwreckage. And I forgot we have a stop. And it's kind of an interesting stop they've done in the rework of level 1 to 25. We get a little bit of lore that's easier to absorb, I think. I just ran the storyline with a second character to move over to the East server cluster so I can play with some friends I have on East. Alright. We'll watch this because this is kind of a key cinematic.
Has always guarded the promise of paradise. Humanity cast out, deemed unworthy of such blessings. But I did not come here seeking paradise. I came for answers. Redemption after a life of weakness and suffering. And I found a truth that disproved everything I had been taught. I tasted the knowledge forbidden to us at creation, and I saw the vision of humanity's true potential. I knew then, I must correct this ancient injustice and restore the power which is rightfully ours. The heart of the mountain now beats strong with this purpose. After a century of preparation, our campaign has begun. The island's townships already fall before the might of our armies. The only thing I had not foreseen is you. You, who have stolen the gift meant for me. And now your soul will pay the price. For I will not stop until I have seized back the destiny stolen from us and brought true freedom to the world, both old and new.
Alright guys, that introduces us to Isabella. She is the voice that we're hearing as we're running to these different objectives in Monarch's Bluff. She'll also be a voiceover in Windsward if you decide to go and kind of repeat the starter quest line over there, which you can. I did that on this new character I just did over the last couple weeks just to see what the new questing was like. Again, we're going to meet her again. We will meet her at multiple points in our journey. Hot or not is the question on Isabella that's sometimes debated in the lively global chat in this game. Okay, so someone left a boar, so why not harvest it? Oh, you got some attitude in these boars in low level zones. I lied when I said they were all docile. Maybe because we were skinning his friend or family member. It's a really slow harvesting process and gathering process when you're low level in your harvesting tools and low level in your territory standing. You'll see that we have the option to buff those things up as we progress within a territory and within level. So it won't be that slow forever, trust me. Okay, we're just gonna cruise up the road. When running on the road, there's a little boot icon. That means we're getting a speed buff, which they did add to the game because people were so unhappy with not having mounts and having to run around. If I'm running off the road, you won't see it appear. If I'm on the road, it comes back. So you have to be on the road, I think, for 3 seconds, and then the actual buff kicks in. Hey, Boats, what's up? Yeah, I'm back. I'm doing something different. Just talked to Mr. Hitman a few minutes ago. Sounds like he's doing something different. Kind of OD'd on ships and just doing a lot of content creation and too much other stuff in life going on. So I took a, gosh, it's almost a year break. And it's the first night back on stream. I guess my mic sounds a little wonky potentially. I got to work on that. But at this point, I'm kind of just happy things are generally running. Just redid all my desk and computer setup and upgraded my card to a 3080. So it's been a little bit of an adventure the last couple weeks, kind of knowing that I might want to get back on and getting prepared for it. So how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. It's good to see some of the old hands back. All right, Pridewind is the main city here in Monarch's Bluff. So, being welcomed in, we get to complete the quest that he gave us on the beach.
In his report, Watcher Reese acknowledges your heroism.
Watcher Reese
In
has
which
passed
case,
on that
you
we're
belong
heroic,
here. Why?
and we may be of
I
use
just
within the
learned
city.
The true heir to the throne is returning to the region.
And there's a
This
true
is a
heir.
day we have been away. Oh, I could recount the legends for days, but I must dispatch someone to the shore.
But it says, I think a lot of people are worn out on ships. I'm getting there too. Life's good overall? Good. Good to hear, my friend. Yeah, and for me, it was not just 2 years of Legends. It was 4 years of World of Warships PC before that. So it was a long haul. And I tend to get into a game like I have with this one. I have a couple thousand hours in this game. I multitask it while I'm playing, while I'm doing my real job. So I can play this in the background. I was doing gathering, harvesting stuff while I'm doing my work, mainly my spreadsheet and other work. So, and my wife and I own our own business, so it gives me a little more flexibility to do that during the day when other people can't. So I'm lucky from that perspective. So I have way too much time in this game, and I've gotten really sucked into it and enjoy it, and that's the way I was with ships for so long. I think it just caught up with me. I know that's happened to some other people too. So, but very glad to hear you're doing well. Every city in New World has basically some crafting areas, some residential areas, some kind of sites that make the city unique, and then various NPCs, non-player characters that are spread about, giving quests, giving rewards, that sort of thing. So when you get into town, if you hit M, or you can hit K and click on M. Oh, we gotta level up, so let's buff a few things here. We can then open our map, and if it will open up in zoom mode so we can actually see the different areas that are of importance inside the town. So these are our different crafting stations. If you hover on each of them, it'll tell you what it is. We'll learn about these things as we go through crafting and refining. And then the green solid icons are going to be where we're going to get our next destination with regard to either turning in a quest or receiving a quest. And then on the left, we have some other information. What we're going to focus on tonight is territory standings. So this is where we accumulate enough points in a territory to buff up our reputation in that city. So we'll click the city that's active, and now, like I was saying, wasn't lying, we can increase our gathering speed, how fast we level, or standing, leveling within a reputation perspective inside a specific territory. So I like to try to get the standing buffed quickly. I'll choose that first. You're getting excited for Skull and Bones. I've heard about that one. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Ashes of Creation, another big launch that's coming soon. This one is crafting. There's a lot of people say this is one of the best crafting games out there. I don't have enough experience with other games to say whether that's true or not. I just know that I've really got sucked into the crafting. All the way from the gathering to the refining to the final crafting. And in this game, if you look at the trade skills page, my initial main character is max level in everything. Get a fancy title with that, you feel like an achiever. But it's just fun being able to be self-reliant in the game and make all your own stuff, not have to rely on the crafter in your company to make stuff or just be buying stuff all the time. So this does crafting really, really well. So tonight we're just going to follow the quest line. Oh, let's grab this. There are mines that need help. There's mines in every town, or not every town, but every territory in New World, just about. Not every, but at least half of them have a mining area.
Well now, two new faces to
Alright, he's welcoming new faces. The minister, talking about this true heir that's going to return. Sir Gawain, they've introduced some historical figures into the game. This is an Arthurian questline. This used to just be a ramshackle wood fort, and they've turned it into this really cool stone castle, this city.
Across the centuries, I've watched the light fade from Monarch's bluffs in the absence.
All right,
of
we're
a
asking
matter
when
of
Gawain
days.
will
I'm
arrive. You can
personally
see how quick
attending
we're
the
leveling just by
preparations
doing
even
these
now,
initial
as is my duty.
quest steps.
Tradition is everything, wouldn't you say? One
In
such
a matter of
custom
days,
you'll
Sir
find
Gawain's
them
going to
quite
come in.
hospitable. I hand-selected the innkeep a few decades ago, so by all means, check in and have a warm meal by the fire. I must
Okay,
attend
he's
to
directing
the
us to the
matter,
inn.
but we
So the
will
inn
start.
allows us to basically fast travel across the map as a recall point. So you can do that from anywhere in Eternum.
will claim them all.
Sorry, Isabella.
Warning them is a futile effort. They are blind to the real danger all around them.
So when we look at the map, we'll be able to recall from anywhere we are to the inn we have active. You can only have one active at a time. And then these fast travel points are not lit up right now because we have not yet unlocked them. We'll unlock them when we have quests near them. Then we'll be able to jump from all these points, point to point, using something called Azoth, which is, again, it's a magical elixir fluid that kind of is the life source, the plumbing of the island that makes everything live forever. But your recall point is at your inn. It's where the little sleepy moon is. You see that lit up straight ahead. And we'll just jump in here, talk to the innkeeper.
Welcome to the Regent's Rise. Sleep here and wake
We
up
will do
feeling
guest
like a king.
registration. So now it'll ask you yes or no whether you want to set this as your recall point. If you do, it's going to overwrite any other recall point you already have active. So choose carefully if you don't want to reset it. And now it's gone from grayed out to I'm colorblind, warning. It looks yellow to me. I'll say it's yellow or orangish. Now we can recall to this point from anywhere in Eternum, but there is a cooldown on that. I think it's like a 20-minute cooldown before you can jump back again. Okay, Grace has followed us to the inn. More town lore. A lot of the pages in town are going to give us specific background detail on the history or goings-on of the town that we're in.
Here we find ourselves in a little village called straight from them. Ha!
Middle
No
Age is
doubt,
represented by
for a place where
Monarch's Bluff
everyone
now.
gets eternal life. You think it'd be more calm, dull, even. Not saying I'd like that, mind you. One thing that is the same,
She's
though,
giving us more coin.
old hard coin. You're both a little light in the pocket. But I did say, well, you got that coin I just gave you, so I'd suggest you get to spending it. Buy yourself a new Aye, there's a trading post out there. Livelier market than I would have expected.
She wants us to visit the TP or trading post. Huge improvement in New World was made when they linked all the trading posts together. All the trading posts used to be completely separately run, where if you listed an item on one trading post, that's the only place you could purchase it. So you had to run around the map or fast travel around the map to buy stuff within the mini markets in each trading post. They linked them together maybe about 3 months after the game launched. It just made buying stuff a lot easier because anything I list here to sell will now be available to buy anywhere in Eternum, not just in this specific city. So I don't really need to buy or sell anything right now. We don't have enough that we've necessarily collected. We do have some rawhide and a few things we could try to list, but we'll wait on that. And we're going to be getting a flow of weapons and armor as we quest. So I'm not going to spend any money on any of this stuff right now, but basically the trading post is divided into a buy section and a sell section, and then these are your different categories. Oh, we could? Let's do this. I think it's going to make us quest through getting some of the other tools, so let's hold off on that. I was just going to buy tools so we could jumpstart doing some gathering, but we'll be quested through grabbing those other things. All right, that's the trading post. These different elements of the city, the trading post, the crafting stations, will all get built up and look prettier and more ornate as the level increases. Trading post works the same way regardless of what level it is, but the crafting stations have to be higher level to craft higher level items. So that's something that's different from the way the trading post looks. Level progression matters more. Oh, we did get a hat. Put that on. We're going to track our gear score here. We're up to 147, which is crazy low. The highest in the game is 625. And then if you've got something under rewards, it's just a bag. You don't want to drop these. You want to open them. It's going to have coins or other items of value in that bag. Coins will just get deposited down here in our coin balance, which is up to 181. And then down here you see a bar, which is basically the state of repair of our weapons, and armor. So as we get attacked or as we use our weapons or gathering tools, they degrade. So we will need to repair them from time to time. And that takes a little bit of gold, and some of these repair parts we get from salvaging gear. Okay. Pretty easy. These initial quests are just basically giving us the basic mechanics of how your UI works. Oops, that's the...
Look at you!
That's the
You're
note,
just a few
not
hours
Grace.
and you're already the most popular person in town. You have it that Sir Payne and Minister Locknear taught this place up like it's got a grand history and a bright future, but I'm not buying it. Sounds like some kind of plague. People turning on their friends and neighbors with cold murder in their eyes. Unlike those red-eyed bastards on the beach, these folks aren't possessed. Seems like they don't have any souls at all. I didn't trust all the shite coming out of that watcher's mouth, but maybe there was some truth.
Okay, there's the corrupted, which are the folks with the red eyes and the veiny complexion. The lost are a different type of lost soul. They're basically more like zombies. And they're another major enemy type within the game. Alright, we've got another territory upgrade. We are always going to take storage when it's available, because you're going to run out of space if you like to gather, craft, or just keep stuff like a pack rat like I do. So I'm going to click storage every time that option comes available, literally. And when it's not highlighted, then I'll pick up other stuff. We must not have succeeded in picking up the final thing from her. Okay, we need to accept the quest. So she wants us to go to the gate guard to basically have him direct us to investigate some of these occurrences of the lost. He moved. Dang it. I should have checked. Okay. Alright. Hapless Hat, we haven't completed his side quest yet, so he's got this hatch mark appearance on his arrow. It'll be solid green if we had a quest to turn in. And I should have checked. She's directing us up here to the magistrate again, to the town hall. Tend to ready, fire, aim, run, and then check, and I'm headed in the wrong direction. Oops, there he is. The gate guard moved back here. I guess it wasn't all the way up in the hall.
See you again. Perhaps Miss O'Malley can be trusted after all. Oh, so you have heard the unfortunate
Sweet armor he's got, eh?
outlying areas.
No transmog yet in this
Sorry
game,
to
but
hear
it's
that.
supposed to be
We
coming.
try not to worry Yes. Well, I hope. Well, I mean, I have the utmost
Alright, so he wants to
confidence
clean
will
up this
clear
situation with the
before
lost
they arrive.
before
I
Sir
think the
Gawain
Night Regent
arrives.
simply wants to take precautions. Please speak with her when you can.
Now let's double check. Now we're gonna go upstairs, but not into the town hall. We're gonna go over into this kind of throne room area, I believe. Yep, there's her icon. They just did a fantastic job reworking this city. Again, this was just basically wooden logs and lashings. It was kind of what people used to accuse to be copy-paste worlds. Cities They've really given 2 of the original cities their own personality now. We'll see that when we've traveled to Everfall as well.
Come in and be welcome. I will never forget the way this island tested me when I first arrived. I said it's good to hear. I believe Sir Payne represents us well, and the spirit of everything Pridewind stands for. However,
Right.
all the anticipation surrounding Sir Gawain's return.
Trying to make everything so
horror stories
hunky-dory for when Sir Gawain
greed and the
arrives.
loved ones that turned on them. Behind their words, I sense a suppressed longing to surrender their own soul for weeks now. We've heard horror stories. We offer shelter, comfort, and we dispatched knights to secure the roads. And the mines are the backbone of Pridewind, where many townspeople earn their livelihoods. I've had no reports in days. I simply ask you visit and confirm with
Right, they've sent people out to try to investigate this situation with the lost. These reports of these lost souls wandering around semi-aimlessly and aggressively, and their scouts have not returned, so we're going to investigate this. These secondary quests, a lot of these now group with our main quest, so a way to power and speed level is going to be to go grab these 3 side quests while we're here in town. Whoops. Looks like we can go down this way. Grab another lore page. It's the Syndicate Charter. We'll talk about factions later on. Which are the political groups or affiliations the players choose within the game. The Marauders, the Syndicate, and the Covenant.
Hey, are you the one I've been hearing about? They say you've been quite a help, and I was like, yes, honey. Honey's so delicious.
She wants us to go gather honey for her.
I have a special reserve up on Horizon to collect my honeycomb.
The barkeeps give you a lot of food, ingredient, and cooking utensil requests. That has not so much changed from the original iteration of the questing. Alright, here's side quest 2. Wants us to gather resources. So we've got a quest to get a miner's pick and some miner's gloves. I got one more quest up here by the loom and the tanning station. Again, we'll get more experience with this as we do our different
Love keeps you warm.
trades.
But so does wool. Come to me if you ever need. Yes. My foolish heart can't. That'd be lovely.
She has a missing loved one around the mine, so
more than the mine.
these basically changing to green now shows we picked up these quests, and they are all clustered around the main quest. This main quest is here, but it actually encompasses this area, so now we can knock out 4 quests on this trip in a single venture. And one other thing we're going to look at really quick before we leave town is called the Town Board. Oops, you have to go back upstairs really quick. Town boards used to be a really powerful way to level. They've gotten nerfed such that you don't use them as a primary way to gather XP these days, but they do give you territory standing and allow you to get these town buffs at a faster rate. Fortunately, we have to go all the way back upstairs. There's going to be a town board in every organized major city. There's a few outposts that don't have them, but all the major cities have a town project board. And when we zoom in on that, we're basically going to get option to run these side missions which help the town upgrade its fort, which is the main PvP area within each territory, or improve the stations from a crafting perspective, essentially. It's not a ton to choose here. We'll come back and visit the board. There's so many new players coming in, these missions are getting taken and turned over quickly. Just good for upgrading the town, but not leaving us with a whole lot of opportunity to pick up any quests right now from that perspective. In a perfect world, we'd grab a couple of those and do those with the main quests and the side quests all at one time. It's people running into walls, don't want to get logged out of the server. So they're on a break. If they just auto run into a wall, it will kick you ultimately. There is a technology that detects if you're just running in place and ultimately does kick you out. Okay, we're gonna head to the mine area. Actually, before we get there, let's check out this sword. Okay, so this sword is a nice upgrade over what we have. So again, if it's gray or black like this, it's not going to have any perks on it. So if we compare the two, the 100 level sword has no perks, the 215 level has a +4 to dexterity. So that's actually going to provide a buff to our character stat through our weapon. And that also is the case for higher level armor too. We just don't have any higher level armor. So if we go back to our character screen, our attributes, now we see a little bit of increase in dexterity. If we hover on this, we have 9 points that we've assigned through leveling and 4 points additional from the dexterity buff from that sword being mounted. Some weapons carry an attribute buff that helps that weapon work better. Sometimes it's for a different weapon. So typically when you get weapons, you want the buffs on them from an attribute perspective that help that specific weapon class perform better in your hands.
Whoa, you! If you thought you were going to the mine, think again.
Mine's scary.
So now she sent someone. And the stranger who's not here in the night. I said, for a while, some of the miners were holding out, fighting back with their picks against the teeth and claws of the now withered.
The Lost are also called the Withered.
Oh, you're brave. I'll give you that. But we're not talking about a handful of withered. We're talking about the whole damn mine.
So basically the mine has turned into these lost zombies, essentially.
Fast.
So we're gonna have to go through this mine complex to clean out this quest list. And when a server's new and healthy with different people at different questing levels, you're often gonna have unorganized company. You're not gonna be in a party, which you can form, which is called a group. But you're also going to have people who are just questing alongside you, essentially, and helping you progress through an area. By virtue of you just kind of informally working together. So again, every time we defeat an enemy, we're going to get an XP buff, a weapon mastery buff, and a territory buff or XP accumulation through that action. So right now I'm just doing sword, so we get full strength XP on that sword. We'll switch to spear here shortly when we need to, when we're fighting multiple enemies. Sword has some crowd control capability that sword and shield don't have so much of. These are kind of classic slash and grab quests. You'll get a lot of kill a certain enemy type and they drop an item. In this case, we need to collect, as the right hand says, 10 miners picks. It's poor citizens just doing their mining job, turned into lost zombies. Now they're randomly attacking people with their picks. Alright. We're going to respec here for free. And we are going to keep Whirling Blade. And we're going to take one of these too. We're going to take whenever we have our shield mounted, we get 15% additional physical armor. And then we're going to take Shield Bash instead of Shield Rush. When you assign those, your special abilities get lobbed here on Q, R, or F, so you need to assign on which key you want that action to work from. I like Whirling Blade to be there and my Shield Bash to be central, so you can move those around just by clicking and choosing a new skill to slot into that location. Alright. Just gonna have to progress up and through. Another chest location. Again, all these are marked. They didn't used to be. Just gonna spacebar jump. These are not high ledges, so we don't have to do any kind of special grab. Ah, I got a great sword. That's a prisoner. We'll talk more about weapon combos. Part of our main story quest is we got 3 people to rescue.
I thought I'd never get out of here. Thank
It's actually
you.
that side quest we just picked up. It is collecting these miners' picks. Different types of crates. Provisions crates are going to have food and bait items for fishing. One of the main trade skills. And the others are going to be different types of stashes that have equipment or potions or crafting materials. So one of the awesome things about this game is you can fall from incredibly high heights without dying. The most you'll lose is typically like 2/3 of your health, but you can literally skydive in this game almost and survive your landings. Just gonna try to take out as many enemies as I can just from a weapon leveling perspective. And there's 2 types of attack on your left mouse button. There's a light attack, and there's a heavy attack, which you can see us gather strength before we thrust out our sword. That's going to do more damage, and it's going to break shields. We'll see that when we start running into enemies that have shields. They can be hard to damage with a light attack. You have to use a heavy attack or a special ability to knock their shield away. Oops. That is a special type of ore called star metal. We did get our mining pick, so let's mount that. But we can't mine star metal until we're level 100 in the mining skill. So it's a no-go for us for a while. Chest. There's another one of our hostages.
My boss! Everyone is withered! I'm getting out of here!
Yeah. It's like any scary zombie movie at the beginning. They don't know why it's happening, and that's pretty much the case here, too. Where's Brad Pitt? World War Z. Alright, do a quick survey. We've gathered chests in that area. We have to go towards the mine now to get the last survivor.
Yes, he was trying to fight back.
Alright, now we need to investigate the lookout above the mine. These guys vomit and then throw their vomit at you. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, one little trick is you can go hands off on your mouse if you auto run. And auto running will take you up a lot of slopes without even doing any extra work. There is a setting for that in the settings. But if I hold down my right mouse button and I have my weapon drawn while I'm jumping, it'll do that grasping jump and allow me to climb steeper surfaces. So we have to head up to the top here. I think we get the main quest and we get one of the side quests accomplished up here. Here's the honey. The barkeep wanted. Those people that are just disappearing are fast traveling out of the area. They're using their in recall. Or they own a house. We'll talk about the benefits of owning a house at a later time. But houses basically become a fast travel point as well. Just check in here for lore pages. Okay. That pinging sound is the breaking of her shield. That guy next to me used a heavy attack. Or enough light attacks, it's just an RNG thing. If you do enough light attacks, you'll finally get what's called a critical hit that will break the shield.
A brave warrior battling their way through the withered. Oh, and for that I'm mighty grateful, sure enough. But I believe I may have found the source of this whole thing started when we found a damn tablet deep in the mine. I'm sure of it. The damn thing was making some unearthly sound. Not a one of us would touch it. Well, I'm no sorcerer, but that tablet's what started all this, no doubt about it. We need... Sure enough. I'm not looking to linger here with pirates and wizards swarming all over. Break that tablet and who knows? Maybe all those...
Okay, this is Elias that the last hostage is telling us about. He's convinced that there's some force in this tablet that's making people corrupted. Or making people lost, or withered, actually, in this case. Okay, we buffed our standing gain. We can also reduce the cost of crafting at the stations. We're not going to worry about that for a while. That's why that's a negative. It's a lowering of cost. This is a buffing in territory standing gain or in gathering speed. So since storage isn't an option, let's take gathering speed. Check our map. Been doing good on side quests. We just have quest number 1. That's the tablet. Okay. 2 of our side quests are done. There is a lockbox somewhere here as well. Quest number 2. Ah, that lit up. Okay. Make sure we grab that too before we leave the area. Ugh. Let's see. We need to go back behind. Right. Sometimes the quest markers don't perfectly align with the physical location of where you need to go. We need to go back this way to get that number 2 side quest. Looks like. Let's use our sword a little bit. Or our sword. Our spear a little bit. There's two. Okay, here we are. I like to jump and dodge a lot when I'm using spear. You'll see later that there's certain skills that are attached to that cool down faster if you jump in between your attacks. Basically dodge. Find the key. It's supposed to be in this area. Right. Oh, these guys might drop the key. It's in this box. There it is. Alright. Open Edwin's lockbox. I am the keymaster. Okay, there's the box up here. Okay, that knocked that quest out. It'll turn from yellow to green. Weapon XP. Alright. Truffle Fever is not in this area, so we don't need to worry about that one right now. We're just going to finish the main quest. We need some spear points. 2 available on spear. We are going to take Skewer, which is an all-time favorite. I'm going to concentrate on this right-hand side, actually, in general. And I like that guy in the middle slot. Move it over. Alright. We have to go back. We have to go back up above. It seems. Is that right? Looks like it's up and behind. Yeah. I did. Boats. Are you the gatekeeper? What happened to Rick Moranis? My brain is filled with so many old movie lines and song lyrics. Lots of good brain cells used by that stuff. Unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on your point of view. Alright. Gonna chat up here. Made a lot of this stuff easier to do while you're running, which is great because you do spend a lot of time running between objectives in this game. Mounts are coming, but it hasn't been explained how they're going to work. Little cannon blast to open the door, which is fun. Use your brain. You wish you'd used it more for more than that? I try to. Not as much these days as I probably used to. I try to be useful. Uh-oh. Skewer. Oh, he interrupted our attack. Bastard. We're gonna get help from random friends because there's so many new people who are starting the server today. Which when I originally started this game a month after the first launch, it was kind of difficult because you rarely picked up any help. Equip the sickle. Herbalist. How? That's truffle fever, so... we get a sickle too? Oh man, we got a sickle. We can harvest. Hatchet we're gonna keep. It's a better spear. 5 dex, 2 intelligence. It's better than what we've got, which is no buffs at all. Intelligence does not help your spear, but the dex does. So we're definitely going to keep that. And we are going to do Control L and lock these down. Let's fight this guy again by ourselves. Maybe not. Ah. Always getting weapon XP. We can't mine the silver. Actually, that's actually gold. We need to be 45 mining level. Remember how we get out of this area. Oh, we need to do this. Cannon in, cannon out. Shield will break their shield. And so will spear in a lot of cases. Especially spear abilities. When we pick up a greatsword, you'll see how it's absolutely awesome for trashing mobs with shields. Okay, we're gonna go back to Elias to actually get credit for the quest we just did. Still in the same spot.
God's blood! I didn't think you could actually pull it off, but you did! Though, it seems my hope of the loss. A promise is a promise. You held up your end of the bargain, so it's my turn. I'll go, but I swear one thing. I'll be coming back to reclaim this place as soon as you did all the work, so I'll let you have the...
Alright, so we got a better shield, and we were getting a quest for a bag.
I'll go tell her there's none left to save, and then I'll see you in town.
It's gonna put in a good word for us with the regent. Alright. This is a better shield. It's got a buff to strength, which is gonna help our sword, which scales off strength and dexterity. So we're gonna first lock this guy because we don't want to trash it by mistake. Gonna swap it with our common shield, and we are gonna basically salvage our common level weapons. And I'm just going to put a lock on this hatchet because I know we're going to potentially use that for leveling. It's a great solo leveling weapon in PvE. Delete the rapier and... ooh, these boots are better. Con and strength. We need both those. Anything that's con is always going to help. And strength is going to help with both spear and sword and shield, and great sword when we get one. If we don't get a drop for a great sword soon, I'm just going to buy one in town because it is a primary weapon I'm using these days. Right, well, we've cleaned up everything on the map. So we're getting the ability to assign more points again. And we'll just check the map. It's clear. Look at our quests on the right side, and everything except for quest 2 is completed. We've got to return to the inn, into town to turn in our quest, but you know what? Let's go do this quest 2 on our way. Dude gave us a sickle and we forgot to equip it, so it didn't show us where the quest was because we didn't have our sickle, our harvesting tool, equipped, so it didn't light up the number 2 icon on the map or on the compass. So one thing you'll notice when I was on the beach and I was initially dodging, I was rolling that's a light armor comp that when you dodge it, you are able to roll a long distance away from whoever you're fighting, human or AI. When you get to a medium comp, it's this hop. And then when you are a heavy comp, it's basically just a step. So as your armor scaling increases and you get more protection from your armor, it's also heavier and it gives you a reduced mobility nerf, which is kind of makes sense, right? So, hey, wolf. The secret in this game is that light armor is very popular in PvP and PvE to an extent. I run medium mostly because I like to be a jack of all trades. So I run kind of a medium comp and I don't necessarily play the meta the way a lot of people do. Kennedy Gaming. Look, hey, what's up, man? How are you? I am back at it. I've seen you pop up lately on my feed, and I just obviously have not been on myself, and I have not been watching a ton of Twitch, but I'm going to jump in and harass you on your stream. Give you some positive reinforcement. How's everything going? I hope you're well. I was telling Boats and Hitman, who was on earlier, that just kind of OD'd on World of Warships after 6 straight years. So I probably will do some streaming just for fun of Legends, but it's not going to be on a schedule, and I'm not going to spend hours and hours doing YouTube content, you know, video editing content on it like I did before, because I just kind of got burned out in the midst of doing it among other life activities going on. So more casual approach to streaming, not a set schedule. This is like the Big Daddy boar. Look at us, we're so low level it takes forever to kill him. So yeah, kind of back at it, but definitely want to drop in and see how you're doing. I saw Cody post YouTube has the community tab, which I was able to put my first post on the community tab. They made that easier to get for us YouTube lobies. I don't know if you're doing YouTube, Kennedy, or not. But I have enough subs that I got a subscriber tab where we can post messages I saw, or community tab. Saw Cody did that the other day too, so I gotta bug him as well. Hey, Fussy, ya boy, what's up? Just talked to Mr. Hitman earlier. How is it going? Good to see all you ships, friends. Alright, we're just gonna collect these truffles for the guy whose cart got knocked over by these vicious and angry boars. Herbs are used in potions of all kinds and in cooking, so I like to grab this stuff if we can while we're out and about. This game is very distracting for me because I tend to run to every shiny object, and harvesting in this game is pretty fun. It's chill, and there's a lot to it. You can basically just spend your time harvesting and crafting if you want. Hope you're doing well, you boy. I think your team's doing well. Isn't Newcastle sniffing at the top 6 or in the top 6 in the Premier League? I told you my daughter's a humongous Chelsea fan, so she does watch all kinds of games, so been keeping up more on the Premier League than probably any US sport at this point. Doing good. Sniffing the top 4 now, yeah. I want Christian Pulisic to go to Newcastle, honestly. I've heard you guys could maybe use a little bit of depth in the attack, and he doesn't get really much time at all, and I think he could be getting more time when he gets minutes. They're productive. So I think Newcastle's going to be a better and better team. Obviously has good backing and a increasing level of success. You can see it materializing. It's not a complete sandbox MMO, you boy, but it's basically you can choose from a variety of weapons. So they've added several of these to the game since the game's launched. The Greatsword, the Void Gauntlet, Blunderbuss are all new. These are classic one-handed melee, two-handed melee, 3 ranged options, the musket being a long-range hit scan. I know Kennedy plays first-person shooters, but this is hit scan weapon. It is still like a flintlock musket, so it doesn't, not a machine gun, but it can shoot from very long distances with almost no bullet drop. Bow has more bullet drop, more projectile drop to it. Then Blunderbuss is a short-range, in-your-face shotgun type weapon, and then you've got magical weapons that have either damage or healing properties, or a combination of both, essentially. But yeah, you can master all these different weapon types. You can run around and chop trees. Best sound design in any game I've ever played. It's absolutely incredible. And if you pursue that, there's all these trade skills. So you can weaponsmith, armor, engineer, jewel craft, make potions, cook or furnish, and then you've got all these gathering skills. Some people just fish in this game. That's all they do. They fish, fish, fish. There's a ton of different types of fish, from basic through to legendary. You can make trophies out of them. It's a crazy economy around the very rare fish. They sell for a lot of money. So yeah, there's a ton of market stuff you can play, crafting you can play, combat you can play. So there's a full PvP reward track. I'm just starting the game tonight on stream with a new character. So once you're high enough level, you can flag for PvP and do different types of open world PvP, where you're just attacking people who are also flagged up in the open. You can do 3v3 arenas. You can do Outpost Rush, which is the closest to World of Warships, 40v40 mapped instanced game mode. And then there's Wars, which are 50v50 battles over territories. Each of these territories on the map can be controlled by factions. You see how the colors are changing? This map is brand new today. All new players on this map. As the colors change, that means that a certain faction, one of 3, has taken over that territory. So there's tons of political skullduggery that goes on between the companies, which are guilds and other MMOs that control these territories. And they get revenues through taxes and on crafting and selling that goes into their coffers to basically gear up their teams to have better capabilities in the PvP side of the game and the PvE side of the game. There's dungeons, which are called expeditions. There's all kinds of different content, and you can kind of pick what you want to participate in, which is the fun thing for me about this game. Kenny's trying to expand, doing Truck Simulator, Div 2, COD. Awesome. And more stuff with Mr. Legend, Froggy, Superman. You guys are consistent out there, which is awesome. Yeah, I think what all of us have learned is that just playing the same game over and over and over for years, I don't know how people do it without just kind of going stir crazy after a while. We don't really need to, but we're going to fast travel back to the inn just so I can show you guys. We're outside right now. If I select the inn and go down to recall, we could do this from anywhere on the island back to the inn that we've checked into. Sweet. Hey, Kennedy, if you have questions on YouTube, whisper me, and Twitch. I spent a ton of time setting up my original page, and I'm bastardizing it by having this stream on the same page as where I've streamed Warships. It's not going to be the best way to get exposure to my YouTube page, but ultimately I'm going to just not care and break some rules. But totally willing to help you set up your YouTube if you'd like some help with that. It's fun. I enjoy the stream setup and the YouTube side from just a mechanical perspective almost as much as streaming. Some days more than it, because I don't usually get to stream until later at night when I'm generally a bit tired. So it's coffee time. Your boy says, yeah, Newcastle actually bid for Pulisic in the summer, right? And Chelsea wouldn't let him go. Maybe in the next window after the World Cup.
There's my honey.
All right, simple. We got honey for her.
I wasn't calling you. Didn't.
She's flirty.
How everyone is message sure.
Now she wants us to grab
as many jars of wine as you can
some
find
wine.
We'll celebrate a little.
Adult game.
Still have the time.
Adult beverages. Whoops. Okay, this is kind of confusing. When you look on the map, you're going to see a green arrow here, but it's a little different color than the others. I can't see that well because I'm colorblind. But this means this quest is open and you need to return to her. The ones that are solid green are actually completed. So I don't play in colorblind mode in this game like I do in the other games that I play. I just kind of live with the fact that some of the colors are not easy for me to see. Alright, so we got to go back to the big hall. Yeah, basically when you start a new character, it's going to take you on a main story quest or MSQ progression, and that will take you to all these different territories of escalating difficulty with regard to the enemies and quests that you need to face.
Surely some can't tell you.
And in the process, you're going to be exposed to and gather the tools and the basic weaponry and armor. And this in case it's a bag that increases our carrying capacity. So you'll get walked through basically everything in your initial questing chain.
Are safe inside and outside these walls.
Okay, this bag goes in bag slot, and see right now we can only carry 200 pounds. If we slide this over, our weight just went up 100 pounds to 300 pounds, which doesn't seem like a huge jump, but at this level, it makes you much better at gathering. Give us a basket of food. Food's either basic food, which gives you a buff in combat and rebuilds health bar, basically, fills it up, or you have attribute food, which boosts your character attributes with regard to combat or gathering skills or crafting skills. So 2 distinct kinds of food, and then down here are the raw ingredients that you're harvesting, which once you craft them in the kitchen, basically you can make them into different types of food for health or for attribute enhancement. Okay, and we didn't pick up the quest from her.
A mysterious tablet in the mines.
Yeah, we found the tablet, we killed the dude.
There's only one conceivable explanation for me not receiving the missives.
She's worried about the minister. He's in the town hall.
His mind with all the preparations for us to go in. I should allow him to clarify.
Not being completely clear about his preparations. And maybe a connection to this tablet. So, you boy, I've been thinking about it for a long time. Probably 6 months or longer I've been dabbling on coming back, and I just kept seeing that last stream date go further and further in the rearview mirror. And I enjoy streaming. I especially enjoy interacting with you guys. That became kind of the regular group that would pop into my stream. And honestly, the thing that I probably enjoy most about streaming is helping people enjoy their time in the game. So that's really what I enjoyed with doing World of Warships, was helping people out with regard to tips and tricks, and that's kind of my actual motivation for doing this too. I've got a couple thousand hours in this game, and ultimately, if I build up a little bit of a crowd here, I'd be happy to answer any questions people have and help them progress and spend their time more wisely, because this type of game, I first load into it and like, it is drinking from the fire hose. There's so much going on. So hey, this is the town board. So this is another way to level up territory experience and a little bit of character experience. So this was pretty much empty when we came by the last time, but it resets every 5 minutes or so. So now we've got a boar quest, a potion quest, fiber, which are hemp. You don't smoke it, you turn it into fabric, and then killing some links. So we can carry these quests as long as we want as additional side quests, and then when we complete these dudes, we come back to this town board to turn them in instead of to a specific individual. And they're going to give us, mainly at this point, a little bit of gold, a little bit of character expertise, and a lot more territory expertise. It's a fun game, Boats. If you've done MMOs, it's addicting, and the game is so much better and easier to play than it was a year ago. Traveling around used to be really expensive with this material called Azoth, which I really haven't shown you guys yet. There was a lot of things that made it difficult and more gated and time gated and grindy to play. And they've really taken a lot of the barriers and friction out. And those people who left, this game had 1 million people buy the game when it first launched. And when I was playing it 4 or 5 months ago, it was down to 20,000 concurrent players and dipping below that, maybe 15. Today it hit 100,000 concurrent players again because they've launched these fresh servers where you can jump into these special servers now that are brand new. There's no players transferring in with their wealth. It's all being built here. So there were some dupes and exploits when the game first launched that really pissed off a lot of people, and they said, I'm not coming back until you do Fresh Start servers because I don't want to compete with these people who duped gold and materials and leveled up way beyond where they should have been. And that to some extent was true. It got watered down over time. But there was those issues, and there was just a lot of bugs when this game first launched. And it's the first large launch from Amazon Game Studios. So poor people, the devs, they listen and they try, in my personal opinion. But every time they'd launch a patch to fix something, it would break 2 or 3 other things. So they got so much stick. And I'm patient, and I'm an older person and realize through owning my own business that life isn't perfect and things don't always go the way you want in business, so I let them just get work through. Other people just bailed.
That can only mean blast a Tomkop.
Alright, we're getting Eddie's coat.
Sorry.
Eddie turned into a withered up in the mine.
There will never be another Eddie.
Yep, another Eddie, but Eddie did provide us with a fine coat. Let's see if it's good enough to equip. Whoops. Yep, it's a 250 armor rating. Our gear score rating over 180, so we're going to swap that out. And it's a Dex coat. We're a Dex build. We're going to be a Dex build. Whoops. Unlock that. I want to salvage it. I'm going to keep cycling through my gear constantly. I don't want to carry around stuff I don't need right now.
My new friend right here. Oh,
the guy we found truffles for.
I hope it wasn't too hard.
If it just goes to talk and it doesn't continue the conversation, just says escape after you hit E back in, just means he has no more side quests to issue to you. Some NPCs will give you literally like 3 or 4 side quests in a row. That guy's just given us a single one. We got miner's picks off the withered at the mine we just quested in.
And an odd job if you ever have need of one. We are always on the... Let me give you a tip, Rajal Sadak. Well, I've...
See, this guy needs some additional supplies, so he's going to issue us another side quest. It's 2 in a row. So we'll go ahead and accept that, because again, these side quests are typically just going to line up with where our main quest is going to be. And it looks like we've turned everything in. There's one more that's popped up here now. Always going to take storage as a territory buff when it's available. There's a whole strategy behind how and where you store stuff. It's all interconnected, but it's like a hub and spoke. So different cities you can store stuff in the storage lockers I just visited, which is this guy. And they're all interconnected to other locations that you've visited. But it's not one big storage pool, so you kind of have to have a system of what type of stuff you store in each location so you can maximize your storage and find stuff when you need it. This is where people get upset with running around. You get cardio in.
Danger abounds, but your fortune will be grown.
So every time you finish stuff, more stuff pops up.
Peace found. Mountain and dale speak the tale. For the air, bring flowers.
Alright, she's a poet. She wants us to collect flowers for the heir, Sir Gawain, that's going to be coming to help manage the city soon. Okay, that's finally it. Yeah, we picked up that quest from him. Let's go see what the main quest wants us to do, and then it's going to direct us to head out of town. And we'll probably do a little bit more, and then it's getting late for me, so I'll probably need to hit the hay here soon. Whoops. What was down here? Mysterious Minister
newcomer
Lockmere.
returns. I understand the Night Regent dispatched you to... Oh yes, I am well aware. I received those missives myself. But with all the preparations for the return of
He's
the
being a
true
little
heir,
cloudy about
I
what's
simply
really
can't
happening at the
dispatch
mine.
on
So
that
again, he might
everywhere.
have some funky
I
motivations.
was preparing to send a few knights, but then I was told, oh, by all means, tell her I will come as soon as I finish my vital work.
Kind
on
of a
behalf
scheming
true heir.
politician. None of those these days, right? Alright, now all these have turned to... Oh, main quest has moved over here now. They're way more interactive now. You talk to one character and then have to go talk to another. The good thing is you run a short distance and you get some XP for doing it. Yeah, boy, if you're still around, if you ever see myself going back to ships, I probably will. I'll do some streams, but I don't see myself doing, like, you know, serious content work. Like, you know, spending 20, 30 hours editing YouTube videos like I was on a weekly basis.
I assume he claimed he was too busy with his stuff while you were away. Foreman Musa
But
visited.
definitely have gotten itch to play, but I will be honest, I've logged in twice and gone and played, I think, 2 games and logged out just because each time I played I had horrible teams that all lemming trained to one side, got obliterated, and it's just like, ugh. I can control my destiny in this game in a way that I never could in ships, so that's what's been another refreshing thing about playing an MMO, is that choose your own adventure. It's not reliant on the other people on your team, the 8 or 11 in World of Warships, to do something organized and intelligent.
These pirates could only have come from the Besset shore.
Right.
I have already dispatched Sir Payne to the north.
Now there's not just withered at the mines, there's some
My
pirates
hope
that
is
are
you and
causing
Sir Payne can
problems.
deter the pirates from further incursions and discover what drives them. May fortune go with you.
Got a potential decent set breast piece of armor to complete that quest. Alright, so where have our side quests mapped? That is fishing. That's got a side quest down here by the starter zone. Main story quest is going to take us north. And that's going to take us north. So let's run up here and see what we can do here. Hit this fast travel on the way. So we'll quest in this area and then we'll probably call it good for the evening. There is a, again, PvP team mode game mode called Outpost Rush in this game. And there are wars. Wars tend to be very orchestrated because it's mostly members of your company, or at least your company and aligned mercenaries that you may have from other companies, all live humans that you organize and have battle strats that you execute in trying to attack or defend a castle within each of the territories over to who controls the territory, basically. But the Outpost Rush mode, which is just basically a pick-up pug game like World of Warships, is highly unorganized and has tons of steam rolls in it, just like World of Warships. So, and they only have one map, so it gets very repetitive. So honestly, I haven't played it a whole lot because I'm just a little tired of playing the same map, same mode over and over. Some stuff we can grab on the way, a few chests and stuff here. Use our skewer skill. I'm going to switch over to our back bar weapon, or vice versa. Use one weapon with its abilities, which give you usually a stronger attack or a stun, then switch to the other weapon. Oh. Go to our journal, can enable a few of our side quests. Oh, it's the supply quest that's asking us to gather rawhide. There's a little quest marker on that. Oops, some iron. Little resource harvesting trip. And that's kind of why I don't get anywhere fast in this game, because there's always something to gather. Do a little quick trip and see if there's some hemp over here. There usually is. So yeah, boy, if you're still around, are you still doing any ship streaming of late? Grab some of these herbs. Oh, this is a wolf that summons some buddies. You just have to kill the main wolf, though. Kill the main wolf, their friends disappear. And then you can just skin the main wolf. Do a really quick check just to see if these fibers are here. They are here. Now there's a little node. It's usually in the spot. The nodes don't move around from a resource perspective like some games. They're fixed and they're timed. They're not instant. So you're literally competing with all the other players to gather resources. Which is another thing that can make some people rage in this game. See, there's one other node in this area. There we go. Anything that's a plant basically goes towards our harvesting skill. And then something called motes, which have properties in a bunch of different crafting and arcana. And we won't be able to harvest motes until we're, I think, level 45 in harvesting skill. Okay, that's good. Let's head back on task here. I'm going to run through this area and visit these two spots here. Kill anything in our path. Just try to get some skill points along the way. Nothing right now, but work is tough. Too tired. Yeah, it's been the other thing. I mean, there's lots of times I've wanted to stream, but I've just felt I don't quite have the energy. I'll pay tomorrow for staying up late. So once I get back to more of a set schedule, it'll likely be a little earlier, hopefully. But my youngest daughter just got done with her football. We call soccer season. So she had a lot of evening games, which was blocking out time. She'll go into her next club season now, so I'll be doing some traveling again for that. But again, without coaching this year, I'll be able to actually watch my own kids, which is exciting. A lot more. Alright, slow progress as I have to stop and harvest and kill everything. Oh, this resources quest, we've got to equip these things we just got. Sure. We don't have to leave this cheaper mining pick there. We can, I think, slot it back. We just need to equip it. That actually gives us an axe. Still giving us credit for what we've already harvested, which in this case is rawhide. Let's chop a few trees. The sound effects on this game, sound effects are awesome. The sound design team is super meticulous about how they record. A lot of it is out in open real life world. Then they have a Foley studio too. They've got some really cool videos on it. This team does an amazing job. Mining and logging are top notch. Trees have different grades. The thicker trees are mature wood. The thinner ones in most cases are young trees. We can only do young trees at our logging level right now. Or bushes for what's called greenwood. The mature trees are going to give you what's called aged wood, and there are different types of wood required for different types of crafting, essentially. Or refining requires two types of materials to combine together. Now we're lighting up more of our side quests that we picked up, so. Alright, got 40 green wood. Now we can gather some stone. The echo effects of the mining are fantastic. You'll get in some canyon areas, and based on how you orient your ear to the rock, it completely changes the sound as well. An amazing sound design. And it even is different based on what type of armor you're wearing. If you're wearing a helmet, it will be muffled. If it's raining, you'll hear the ting of the raindrops on your metal armor if you're wearing metal armor. It's really cool. Okay. This fast travel point is like silver. We want it to turn to gold, yellow. Here's a dude who's flagged. He's open world PvP right now. Any other flagged player can attack him and vice versa because he has his flag on. Gives you a buff to your harvesting. It can increases your luck too, which will be a long conversation to have when you're opening chests. Why is it giving us that quest back in town? It's weird. Alright. Sally forth. Obviously there's a quest in this area that tells you to make a camp. It's all these campfires. Hey Bussy, you boy, good to see you, man. Hey, have a good day at work. Awesome to see you. And yeah, definitely look forward to talking to you again. Catch up on soccer, other fun stuff. Try New World, dude. It's $20 right now. I think you said you might not have a PC though. I think it's half off on Steam. $20. It's no monthly subscription fees. It's really fun. Have a great one. Thanks for coming by. Good to see you.
It's the wise move when we're this far from trying.
All right.
There's a splendid spot.
We're gonna add to the camp city. Okay, so if we have wood and flint, we can press the Y key and build a camp. So we just press Y till it gives us a good location, and we hit E, hold it down to apply our resources, and it will build our tent. Camp upgrades over time, and you can buy or get upgraded camp skins in different events.
A few months ago, this barren beach had not. Indeed.
This area has been invaded by pirates.
And we currently lack an army. You two stay here and defend our position. I will go forth and challenge the leader of the pirates to a duel. Well, yes, good point.
He wants us to go attack the pirates.
They've been unloading cargo using the smaller
The NPCs are really good at telling you what you need to do for them, aren't they? Alright. Get our dex buff from our gear. And those two better pieces of gear, we got 18 points of dex. So I'm going to keep my assigned points pretty close. And now we're to a level, you get more points available as you escalate in level, so I'll do 1 point to each of my strength and dex, and 2 to con. And let's just check and see what we've received. Oh, we have a spear point to allocate. Going to go with perforate. I know why I was not doing this properly. I had skewer in the wrong slot. Skewer is a leaping attack, Perforate is 3 quick strikes, and then we like to run either Vault Kick, which causes a stun, and resets our cooldowns faster on our abilities, or you can use Sweep if you want a good crowd control ability. Side quest, pirates.
Baby and Ryan. What a good way to
She wants to give us an ice gauntlet. Okay, so yeah, look, we've got side quests and main quests going on down here, which is exactly what we want. Our health bar will slowly regenerate over time, or we could use some of the food or the health potion. And that guy's a healer and nicely healed us up. Skewer and Perforate work really good against single target enemies. You can take enemies' health down really fast. In combination with something like Sword and Shield or ultimately Great Sword, I can do pretty good crowd control just with those types of weapons without taking something like a full crowd control ability like Sweep, but get a sense of how they both work. Ooh, Karate Kick. Let's go get some weapon expertise. Breaking these crates. Main quest. If you start attacking an enemy that's chasing someone else, you will pull aggro away from them and onto you. Which in this case I want to, because I want to kill these guys for the experience. Pirate ships attacking, this is a cool little side quest that you can do. New in the quest rework. Crest. These are pretty low level enemies. It's not a difficult quest to complete even if you're here by yourself. It's kind of a random roadside quest. Keep picking up all this gear. We're not going to use a whole lot of it, to be honest. Again, we can salvage it. Get a little bit of gold and some repair parts. That. It's a pretty good chunk of the main story quest. We'll go back. Oh, there's one more in front of us. It's the wine for the barmaid. Yep, that's a chop. It's got a health bar, you gotta chop it. Okay, that's all their rowboats. Looks like we pretty much completed, though. What the hell? Let's run up there. It's kind of full. First cool pirate fort you go into, Trader's Hold. You gotta hit these barrels. You don't want to be standing next to them when they explode. They do damage to you. Only one person gets credit for them, I believe, so they reset pretty quickly. You want to hack them to get credit. I naturally just do a lot of hopping around because as you level up these weapons, especially sword, spear and greatsword, you get faster cooldowns when you do a hop in between attacks. So, plus it's just good dodging behavior. In a lot of cases, it's not going to be your armor that's going to save you; it's your ability to dodge out of the way. So just developing good habits, especially against bosses when you're underpowered against a specific boss. Up here, usually some dudes and some chests up on these gangways. When you break their shield, they lower it, and you have a short window of time to get as much damage in on them as possible before they get back on guard again. If she's reloading her flintlock, then we can also hit her. Okay, what do we have left in here? 4 out of 5 explosives. You don't get credit for doing the same one twice, I think. Now there's no quest marker because we did all the ones that we needed to do. Just get in a rhythm of a couple attacks, do a dodge. Couple of attacks, do a dodge. Really serve you well for solo questing, and even when you get into expeditions later. See, she's using her shield, but she's reloading her gun, so I can take advantage of her when she's loading. Okay. See, the muffled sound is a block. Shield bash is great for breaking the shield. Spear doesn't always do it. Sometimes you have to go to a heavy attack. There we go. That's a shield break. That ping. Come on, Bobby. Got her. Alright. Left a bag. Small Traveler Stone. A lot of the things you'll see you're picking up are basically crafting mods. Some of them sell for a very good chunk of coin. So it's always worth picking that stuff up and just going back and checking at the trading post if it's worth putting them on the market or not. Again, here in the beginning for a while, we're going to have quite a bit of space in our storage lockers. It's as we progress, get to end game, where we're going to need more and more storage space if you're a crafter or to carry your different armor and weapon sets. Global chat getting spicy as normal.
Oh, bravo, my bold friend! I feared the pirates would overwhelm you, but believe it or not, while you were battling on the beach, we apprehended. She insisted she was here scouting the place.
Thinks O'Malley is a spy.
I find that
she's just a profiteer.
hard to believe. Look at her, all suspicious, but
He's talking crap about you, Grace.
I know it's driving them, making them go mad. If this, I'll tell ya. But if you go in, I'm expecting some loot.
There's some kind of altar in
Another reciting of an altar.
The bastards are drawn to it like flies to a carcass.
So we've had lost miners and we've got lost pirates.
Ah, that was magnifique! Oui, Serpent is the spark of a knight in me. I have to pray more and fight more.
All those camps.
Impress the regent.
Must be a launch day.
I become a knight soon. Then everyone will call me Sir Ash.
Okay, no locker option for storage increase, so let's, again, continue to buff standing gain and gathering. Later on, we'll worry about lowering our station crafting fees. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to focus on leveling up our character, both from a character perspective and in our territories. Get another level so we can do skill points. Man, this combo is really helping Dex. 3 points, I'll just do 1-1 and 1 down on con. We start out with what, 900 and we're up to 1400 con. It's not bad from a hit point perspective. Okay, let's do one more main quest romp and then we're gonna go to town and buy a greatsword and call it a night. Found a warm plate cap. Use those in Arcana for crafting health potions. So if you're in an area exploring and you don't want to die and have to respawn in a major city or the last location you're near, you can set a recall point on anybody's tents that they've set up. And then you'll just respawn in that location if you die. We're prudent. We shouldn't have a lot of death issues. Unless we're in an expedition. Occasionally you're going to meet an open world foe that's going to be way over your pay grade. And they will have a skull, a death icon above them. Couldn't break her shield. Hop to the side. Choose shield bash, breaks her shield, go in for the damage to take her out. So much for going to bed quick. We're gonna run in here. Hey-o. Gotta watch the barrels. They're pretty explosive from a damage perspective. When the sky starts to get light like this, we know it's transitioning from night to day. There are certain collectibles. Oh, we just got some music. They're only gatherable at certain times a day from chests. Some that are quite rare. What's the way in? Zoom way in. That's a dead end. We need to go around to the left, it looks like. Dude just has a club, he doesn't have a shield, and he's not wearing armor, so you'll see that all of my hits on him give pretty full damage. And you're going against enemies with a shield. This guy, he's going to be able to block some, which he just did. So we use skills like Skewer or Shield Bash, break that shield, go in for damage. Or a heavy attack. Hold down left cursor for a charged attack. I get lazy sometimes on heavy attack, but Greatsword is curing me of that because it's got a really good mechanic where it gives you a faster cooldown and a bleed if you use a charged heavy attack more often. Bigger bosses that have a stamina bar too can break down their stamina quickly if you actually use heavy attacks. And it downs them for a time, so you can get in damage when they're in a down state. Guys can be kind of sneaky. And hanging out. These are mobs that were chasing her out, or him. Heavy attack! Got him. You can run straight out of a dungeon. We'll show you that on the way out of here. So all the trash will follow you. Hey, Gator. If he's retreating, you can't do damage. It'll say immune. Dude has a great sword. It's our kind of first pseudo boss. Someone's dragged additional enemies over. Sometimes they also spawn ads. For the bigger creatures and mobs, they will flash before they attack. It's kind of when they're doing their special ability. Oops, we still need something back behind us. Get credit for helping the navigator. There's a little bit of food. Come on. Got my potions on a different hotbar location than what I'm used to. There we go. Alright. It's the Shattered Altar, as Grace was talking about. And we have another altar to destroy. That's that guy was doing before we got here. These things are instanced for us. I don't need to take him on again, but why not? Let's concentrate this time. Alright, Anchorman. Why do we still... Oh, he drops a bag. Why do you not drop it every time? Nope, there it is. It's cannon fire that comes from above. Survive the explosions. We have to defeat him again? Or is this a repeatable quest? This just must be a repeatable. Everyone's gonna catch up to us if we pause, so we're just gonna run and hightail it out of here. These guys will eventually drop aggro and be able to just run away. So you don't have to fight your way in and out of every single dungeon if you don't have time. And we're back to talking to Grace. Again, if you're starting out in New World or interested in it, it's, I think, 50% off right now in the Steam store. 20 bucks. If I divide the number of hours into how much I paid for this game, which was 40 for me, it's a really, really low cost per hour given there's no subscription. So not to be a billboard for AGS, but I highly recommend picking it up and giving it a try at 50% off.
Well, now, look who made it in and out of the pirate's den safely. Ha! See there? Now that's all right, decent friends. This'll get me a bit closer to securing my ship. There's a pain in my arse here tells me the Night Regent might be hiring new scouts.
No surprise there. Miss O'Malley gets what she wants.
That quest is just bouncing between NPCs.
I can only imagine the... Interesting. Perhaps I must keep vigil here. Ensure these scoundrels don't attempt any further incursions to the south.
Okay, he wants us to use the Spirit Shrine to go back to town, which is perfect. It's the fast travel point we unlocked. We want to go back and grab a great sword at the store. The TP.